If you've been following the channel for a while or happen to watch my previous credit card roadmap video, then you'll know that I was pursuing the Chase trifecta as well as trying to complete the Capital One duo, and also getting the only rent-paying credit card in the credit card world, the Built Mastercard. Well, I have all 6 credit cards, and after acquiring them, those are the only credit cards that I'm using at this moment. I don't find myself pulling out any of the other credit cards that I have. But for transparency's sake, let's break down all of the credit cards that I have right now. I have the Chase Freedom Flex, the Chase Ink Business Unlimited, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, Amazon Prime, Capital One Venture X, Capital One Saver One, Wells Fargo Autograph Card, and the newest edition, the Built Mastercard, which I guess is technically a spoiler because I haven't technically made a video about it, but hey, here we are. I did get approved for that card. So now it begs the question that everyone is wondering. I'm basically done with my quote-unquote core setup. I have 2 FECTAs and supplementary credit cards that help support supplementary categories that I spend on, such as rent with the Built MasterCard. So now what? Is it metaphorically time to hang up my curtains on my quote-unquote YouTube credit card career and call it quits? Of course not. Now that we've completed everything that I was thinking out, now is the time where the real fun begins. But before we start talking about my new laid down credit card roadmap, I do want to take a brief second and talk about my credit card data points, starting with my credit score. Currently on Experian, my FICO score 8 stands at a 755, which is decent, don't get me wrong, but we can definitely bump that number up. Additionally, my current 524 status is sitting at a 924, but I like to argue that one of those cards is an authorized user and the other one is a business credit card, so ultimately my 924 status is actually a 724, still considerably higher than the required 524 status. The initial game plan to this newly approved credit card roadmap is to wait and slowly garden my new credit cards that I have acquired in the last 2 years, so that I can lower my 524 status to below 524. In December of 2023, 3 of my hard inquiries will fall off due to 2-year limitation, and then in April 2024, 2 additional hard inquiries will fall off as well, thus leaving me with a new improved status of 424 in April of 2024. Additionally, since one of these inquiries is for a business credit card, my actual status will be 324, which gives me a little bit more of a cushion when applying for new cards in April of 2024. So setting the stage here, it's April of 2024. Which credit cards will I be applying for? The first card that I am interested in is the Hilton Aspire credit card that is co-branded with American Express. The main reason for getting this card in the first place is really because I just started a new job, and the new job requires me to go out on business trips quite often, and because they cover hotels, travel, and food, farming free Hilton points is definitely a no-brainer for me. So having the Hilton Honors Aspire card will allow me to farm up a ton of free Hilton Honors points because of work, since the Hilton Aspire card earns 14x back on Hilton hotels and resorts, 7x back on select travel, and then 7x back on dining. But having the diamond status that is attached to the Aspire card means that whatever room I end up booking for business will be upgraded, which is a great perk to have. The Hilton Aspire itself is a $550 annual fee card, but it does come with a $400 Hilton Resort credit, which can be a little limited due to the fact that you can only use them at participating Hilton resorts, but this credit is split as 2 statement credits that are given to you every 6 months, kind of similar to the Saks Fifth Avenue credit that the Amex Platinum card does. You also get a $200 flight credit that is split up as $50 every single quarter that is eligible on participating flight purchases, and a $100 Hilton on-property credit for participating Waldorf Astoria and Conrad properties, and a $189 Clear Plus credit that is similar to TSA PreCheck, plus an annual free night voucher reward that is applicable after every card anniversary, and you have the chance to get another one after spending $60,000 within a calendar year. The next card that I have my eyes on isn't even a card that is currently on the market today, and it's the recently rumored higher-end Hyatt credit card with Chase. A couple of weeks ago, there was a mention that Chase sent out surveys regarding the possibility of a new higher-end Hyatt co-branded credit card. Some of the questions that were asked in regards to that survey was an annual fee of anywhere between $250 and $450, various Hyatt-related statement credits, elevated Explorer status, and an elevated free night voucher that's similar to the one that is currently offered with the World of Hyatt credit card, and the potential to upgrade/combine certificates into a Category 6 or Category 8 certificate. The general consensus about this new higher-end Hyatt credit card in the comment section down below is a bit mixed. One user did point out that the survey did specifically refer to the Hilton Aspire credit card. Another mentioned that they didn't really want another coupon book credit card, so we'll definitely have to see whether or not the new higher end Hyatt credit card is worth getting in the future. And if it doesn't match up to the hype, I still see myself pursuing the world of Hyatt credit card, so there's nothing to worry about there. Again, the main reason as to why I'm seeking out multiple co-branded hotel credit cards is because I'll be traveling a lot due to work, and farming free Hilton and Hyatt points is a must. Again, because I am considered in the late stage or the end game of the credit card journey, I have a lot more flexibility in seeking out higher tiered credit cards that can offer me a lot more in terms of benefits, such as the next credit card that I'm considering getting, and that's the American Express Platinum card. That's right, I'm actually considering joining the American Express ecosystem, which is shocking because the only American Express related content on this channel that I've made so far is basically me saying that they suck. Reason being is that I didn't personally believe that my personal owned lifestyle matched the lifestyle that American Express Platinum card holders typically had. And also, I really didn't like the fact that the Platinum card was more of a status card or a flexing card, meaning there was little to no reason as to why you should be considering the Platinum card in the first place. However, again, considering my lifestyle did just recently get a bit of an upgrade, I can finally see some reasonable reasons as to why I should be pursuing the American Express Platinum card. The additional benefits that the Platinum card offers is definitely something that I can see myself utilizing in the future. Having the Global Lounge Network, which consists of lounges like the Centurion Lounge Network, Escape Lounges, Plaza Premium, Delta Sky Clubs, and Lufthansa in my pocket, means that I can travel with style. Additionally, the automatic gold status for Marriott and Hilton properties is definitely a bonus to have when I do end up booking at those properties, because they give me the potential of room upgrades and heightened perks. And obviously, the other assortment of credits and benefits that the Platinum card provides is definitely something worth mentioning, and I can definitely see myself taking advantage of them in the future. I do have to admit, no matter what, the $695 annual fee is a little hard to digest, considering my current credit card setup only rakes in $490 in annual fees every single year, that being the Capital One Venture X credit card and the Chase Sapphire Preferred. But again, because my lifestyle is shifting a little bit, I can definitely see myself getting at least $695 in value if I were to get the American Express Platinum card. Additionally, I do want to mention that American Express as a credit card lender is doing something odd right now. If you haven't heard, apparently if you do decide to sign up for the American Express Platinum card and get the welcome bonus offer on that card, you will not be eligible to get the welcome bonus offer on the American Express Gold card if you get that card after. However, this new rule, which is effective immediately, does not work in the opposite direction. Meaning, if you apply for the Gold card first, you are still eligible for the Platinum card's welcome bonus offer if you do decide to get that second. I personally don't ever see myself ever pursuing the American Express Gold card because I have this super close second place Capital One Saver One credit card, but I did want to mention it for those of you out there that are pursuing the Platinum or Gold card or both. And finally, the last credit card that I'm considering in this credit card roadmap is the Kroger Mastercard. That's right, the Kroger Mastercard. If you haven't watched that previous video where I talked about underrated and underappreciated credit cards, please make sure to watch that video after watching this one, but let me explain my stance on this. I understand that throughout this video, I only talked about super high tiered credit cards, basically endgame credit cards with super high annual fees. But when it came time to create this new credit card roadmap, I actually had some trouble figuring out the last credit card that I wanted to pursue for this credit card roadmap. But when it came time to create this new credit card roadmap, aside from the 3 credit cards that I talked about earlier, I had trouble figuring out what other credit cards that I wanted in my personal wallet. I mentioned that I completed my course setup, which will help me earn points in categories from now until the day I die. I also mentioned in the past that I absolutely hate airline-specific co-branded credit cards because their earnings potential suck and their overall reward system sucks too. And I'd like to mention that I have 2 of the best cashback credit cards in the credit card world with the Saver One credit card and the Autograph credit card. If you disagree, you are a hater, and please look at these cards with an unobjective, unbiased lens. So why exactly would I be pursuing the Kroger Mastercard? It's pretty simple. It earns 5% cash back on all mobile payments for up to $3,000 every single year. And it's a no annual fee card, which means I can keep this card forever and spend it on something like, I don't know, shopping in person from now until the day I die. It's objectively better than most credit cards in the credit card world. Anyways, that just about wraps up the new and improved credit card roadmap. What do you think? What are the credit cards that you are pursuing yourself next? Make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you like this video. Thank you for watching as always. Stay safe out there, everybody. Peace. Those of you out there that are new to the channel, hi, my name is Eric. I generally talk about everything credit card related, but more recently I've been making videos on broader financial topics such as these videos right here. The main goal for this channel is to provide informational and meaningful financial related content that everybody everywhere can enjoy. So again, if you'd like to support that dream, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And with that, thank you for watching as always. Until next time, everybody, stay safe out there.